Yeah, so basically we wanted to get together today and talk about the superhero car show and Comic-Con that just happened over this past weekend. And all three of us went there. I was there all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Rigo was there Friday, or I'm sorry, Saturday,
Saturday and Sunday.
and then Brian was there Friday, Sunday. So we got a pretty good breadth of coverage for the convention. Saw at least all of the headliners. I know there were some minor guests, I guess you could say, that we didn't see, like some of the wrestlers and that kind of thing. But basically, all of the main people who were headlining the convention, we had some kind of interaction with between the three of us. I think we saw probably almost everybody. I don't know. You guys didn't get a chance to see Andrew Garfield, though. I think that might be the one we're missing.
That is the one person I did not get an autograph or a photo from, and yeah, I think that's the one that we missed.
Yeah, and that was just because he was so hard to get, because his autographs, they only did 2 groups for his autograph. They did more photo op groups, but the autograph was literally sold out in 15 minutes. So unless you were right there, I think they released them at noon. So unless you were there right at noon, you have to kind of jump on it pretty quick. And I was at work, so I couldn't get one, unfortunately. But yeah, and then there were some photo ops that you could kind of grab up, because he did a lot more groups of that. But as we kind of went along, we'll get into exactly how his photo op was going, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later. But kind of want to start off with talking about the con in general, like what it's like they had to offer, because this is kind of like a unique convention, right, guys? Is it the 4th year that they've been doing it? Do you guys know?
I would have to go back and see how many years. I know I've been to every one of their cons they've had since year 1.
Yeah, it couldn't be more than 5, I don't think.
Was the first one the one with Ben Affleck?
Yes.
So they've been around for a little bit. They're not a new con anymore, but that is called the Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con, because Bob, the owner of the convention, has this big vintage collectible car collection there. So part of the convention is kind of separated and walled off. It's like a separate building. They have just cars there, and there's like, you got the Batmobile, a couple versions of that. You had the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, had the DeLorean from Back to the Future, Kit from Knight Rider, like all these kind of like iconic cars. The A-Team van, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Transformers. So they had like all kinds of different franchises represented there. And that was just this whole separate car show there, but it's all included in the same price of entry. And basically the only other thing they had in the kind of car show venue is they did have a stage where they brought in some musical acts. They had the Blues Brothers cover band. They were the Texas Bluesmen. They had like C's cover band, and another one that was like the Bombshells, I think what they were called. They were like a 1940 style, like Andrew Sisters type act, So they had that in there, and they also had some free autograph signings, which we'll talk about. Who was giving out some free autographs, which was a really cool feature. But as far as the lines and the organization of the con, I've heard only really good things about it. For me, all the lines went pretty good. I don't usually get a VIP pass, but I got one this year, so kind of goes without saying the lines were pretty decent for me, because I got to cut a lot of people. But I don't know, how was your guys' experience with the lines and just the crowd in there?
Well, I waited in the general admission line. What was it, Saturday? And it wrapped all around the second building, all the way to the AT&T Center. But once it started moving, it was pretty quick. I thought I was gonna be there for about an hour or 2.
But you're just talking about the line to get into the gate, right?
Yeah, to get through the gate. On Saturday,
that was
pretty
the line to get in, at least for Saturday, was pretty brutal. I saw on Facebook they posted that they had 36,814 visitors attending the convention. And the lines to get in were pretty tough, because everyone had to have their bags checked, and you had to go get a metal detector to get their security. And the first day, everyone was picking up their badges too, so that was a big bottleneck there as well. But once you got into the convention, everything is kind of split up into groups. So you buy your autograph ticket, and you have a day assigned to you and a group assigned to you, and that group is slotted for about, I don't know, maybe half an hour time slot at most, so that you can get into your group at the specific time, and then it kind of helps the flow. So if you're in, say, group 1 and you miss your time slot, you can hop into group 2 or whatever. But if you're in group 2 and they've only called group 1, you have to wait. So if you miss your spot, then you can always go into a later group, but you can't go in early. That's how they run it at this con.
I'm going to say for lines and organization, for me, I'm going to give it an A out there, especially coming off the heels of going to Dallas Fan Expo. And I don't know if we've chatted like on a live or a video about Fan Expo, and I don't want to beat up Fan Expo by any means. I've been to a lot of different Fan Expos through the years, but with two big large cons in Texas, I would put Fan Expo and of course the Superhero Con now in the same category as Fan Expo. Maybe when they first started back in 2018, I did look that up. That's when Affleck came. They were just getting started, kind of finding their footing and moving up there, but they're definitely in that upper echelon as the as far as like attendance. I know that attendance, there was over 36,000 visitors through the weekend, but as far as organizations compared to those two cons, night and day, totally different type of formats, just like Tim was stating, for groups. And when the Superhero Con a few years ago first started, starting out the whole group thing, I wasn't a super fan of it, but now being able to see it, in its full-fledged, working time, when it fully developed, I guess I would say, throughout the last couple of years, you can really see, how it really pays off for, your time and energy, versus, maybe going to, like when I went to Fan Expo, and I know people, waited 5 hours in line just for Hayden Christensen. And it was hot because the AC wasn't working right in Dallas either, with a large crowd. And, but the group numbers, it makes it much more efficient on your day. It makes it much more efficient on your whole weekend if you really kind of think about it. Like for myself, usually I'm always a 3-day con person, but the groups allowed me to go ahead and place everybody I needed on Friday and Sunday, still take a day off in between to rest and relax and come back to it. But just because the group system, you don't have to be on that queue all day. And on the other flip side of that, if you do have a VIP versus like going to Dallas Fan Expo or another big con like that, usually the VIPs, you go to a big line and it's 100 VIPs, in Dallas Fan Expo. They're all matched with general admission, and everyone's trying to get maybe that one celebrity. Even the VIPs are waiting for a long time sometimes in Dallas on their busy days out there. And I think by having, it's a little different because if I'm a group 4 for, autograph for Hailee Steinfeld, I can't go at 10 in the morning and go get Hailee Steinfeld's autograph. I have to wait till group 4 is ready to go and they post that time. But at least there's a VIP line at that time. But instead of that time, I could show up to the con later. I could go to another event. I can go to a panel that I want to go view, versus being on lines all day if you're a serious autograph collector, maybe like at a Dallas Fan Expo. So I really give, Bob a big props there, and also, Ace for partnering with this con the last 2 years. I give the organization and lines an A for me for sure.
Yeah, I think, comparing and contrasting, one of the big reasons why Dallas is so much more crazy in the line as compared to Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con is that Dallas was just like way oversold. They just sold an incredible amount of tickets, like more than they really had capacity to move all of the guests through. And with Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con, once they sold out, they were sold out. Like they didn't release another batch or anything. Like there was rumors that there were going to be more tickets, and there was like an incredible demand for them. People really wanted them to release some additional tickets closer to the show because they had missed out on them already when they had sold out a month or so prior. So there was an incredible demand, and there was some rumor that they might release more tickets, but they didn't. take the easy money grab opportunity of releasing tickets, because that would have been some quick, easy cash for them. They could have sold hundreds of more tickets at this, between $200 and $300 price point for these big name celebrities, and just kind of crammed even more people in there. But to their credit, they didn't. So I think that made for a much better convention experience at the expense of, perhaps some money out of their own pocket. So that was really cool, I thought.
Yeah, because people were willing to pay double, triple what the autographs were just to buy someone's ticket online.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was definitely people on the Facebook groups offering some, big money for these tickets because they had become so scarce and they were sold out. But I just posted a video on TikTok today of me going in line, getting my photo op with Elizabeth Olsen, and I kind of comment baited the caption on there, because it was I just spent spending $210 to meet Elizabeth Olsen for 10 seconds. And, a lot of the comments on there are like, I would never pay to meet anybody, any person. I would never pay that. And I'm like, who is this person? A lot of comments, comments on there, thinking I'm crazy, but I'm not the only one. They sold out, and they could have.
You know what? I think that's just the average person. Not, of course, not like a Comic-Con goer, not a collector, not an autograph person, because when you first start talking to Comic-Con to the average person, if you I don't know, go to a summer barbecue and you're introduced to new people and they've never been and they ask you what you do for fun, and you tell them Comic-Cons, they kind of think even, oh, well, hey, I pay to get in, everything's free here, there's no I get to meet all the celebrities, I get all the autographs I want. It doesn't work like that, so there is fees out there, and there's definitely a fan base out there. I think it's just who those people are that are out there that are looking for that type of stuff for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And there's some opportunities to see the celebrities, if you go to the Q&A panel, but that's really about it. Now you can't even just go and look at their table, because they have everybody behind this curtain, all the main top tier A-list celebrities, they're behind a curtain doing their signings. So you can't even just walk by the table and peek up and see what's up. So they really got you. If you want to see the celebrity, if you're not at a panel for 45 minutes, then you're not going to see them at all for the 3-day convention. You got to pay the money to see them.
Well, you know what? Actually, on the other hand, I did see somebody that waited in line, had a VIP pass, didn't have any autograph ticket, went through the autograph line for Hailee Steinfeld, and she delivered her a present.
Oh, very cool.
So they didn't say, hey, you have to get out or anything like that. Hailee Steinfeld was very appreciative of the present that this person brought her. So they actually still did let somebody meet. I think the big thing for that, and it kind of goes back to the other format of Dallas Fan Expo, and they do have some curtain things here. Don't get me wrong, but then you do have a lot of people that jam up the main aisles. And they're the looky-loos. They want to maybe see that person from far away. And I understand that. And I've been in their shoes before. But, they're the ones that maybe try to take the photos from far away, and they're jamming up all the traffic, and then nobody's moving, and it's interfering with the regular lines that are coming up. And then the way that Superhero Con had it, they have their autograph area blocked off, at least for the A-listers, and you had to make sure that you're checking your groups and your times before you even get into that area. I think it helps cut down on that traffic, though, too. I think it's just a different format from from what we kind of all been used to for anybody that's been kind of going to different cons. But I think it really does have those that pluses out there. I think that also kind of talks, into your next point that we're kind of talking about, the A-listers. What did you guys think of the overall lineup versus other Comic-Cons that have happened this year or are scheduled for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the lineup was really good. We're seeing with a lot of Comic-Cons, they have the kind of trend is to do this really deep guest list, but it's full of voice actors from anime and video games, these people who are kind of at a $60 price point, and then maybe you have a couple of these bigger names that kind of bring in the crowd, and then you just kind of have this, I don't want to say filler. These guys are, they definitely have their fans, and they get people coming to their booth. A lot of people want to get voice actors on Funko Pops and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to say these guests are illegitimate or anything, but I do prefer the superhero car show and Comic-Con approach, where they're they're kind of front loading with these big A-list celebrities, and then like the rest of the roster they're leaving kind of bare, and that's like fine with me. I'd rather come and get some of those big A-list names and spend my money there than just I don't even really get the voice actors for most of the time anyway. So I'm really coming for those bigger names, and I appreciate that there. And because they're hard to get, they're harder to get. Like it's way easier to get these voice actors and stuff. So if they can get these bigger names, that's why people are coming over from all over the country. I saw Mexico license plates, and they're international fans coming out there. And I don't think you would get that draw with like the voice actors. Like you can get that at any kind of local con, but it's these big
I met a
names.
couple people from outside the country, and they flew out because nowhere else they'd have that many actors they can just knock out at once.
Mm-hmm.
Any big names.
So what would y'all kind of give like a grading scale? Like I gave the line and organization of the superhero con like an A. What would y'all kind of say like the overall lineup, like for you? Of course, I know all three of us would, all love to see Mark Hamill. That's beyond superhero Comic-Con show. And anything like that. I mean, if it happens, all praises to Jesus. But excluding Hamill and some of the people that are that are on the con circuit right now, what would y'all each give like the grade that you would think that maybe for the overall lineup?
Here we go.
I'd give it an A, honestly, because just like you guys said, I'd rather multiple big names and very few smaller actors than like Austin Comic Con, for example. What's the name of theirs? Is it GalaxyCon?
Yeah, GalaxyCon.
Yeah, they have like their whole lineup. Their photo for the Comic Con is like 50 plus people on there, but I'd really only pay to go see one or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for this con, I was there every single day this year. Because that's how good it was. I'm usually there just 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, I'm the Rigo 100%. I think it was an A lineup. For me, I was super stoked about Elizabeth Olsen. I'm a big fan of hers, and especially I mentioned that I was on Love and Death before, so the fact that I was in the show with her a little bit, I didn't really get to talk to her while I was on set because I didn't think it was going to be very professional to do that, to bother her while she was working, but kind of got a chance to at least say hello a little bit. Probably had a combined between the autograph and the photo op about a combined minute talking to her. But that's okay. That was really a highlight for me. And Hailee Steinfeld was somebody I was also really excited to meet too in person. So I mean, it's definitely like for me, it's about the autographs, but like really the meeting the celebrity and being there and talking to them, that the interaction, that's what's like really good for me. That's why I go for sure.
Got it. So yeah, I give it a B plus for myself, but this is all just personal preferences of like who that you like and whatnot. So I can do B plus, almost like to the A section for me there. And I really liked some of the guests that I met was also Hailee Steinfeld. She was really nice. I got to meet Brie Larson to get an autograph. She was really nice also. Elizabeth Olsen. I got to meet Emilia Clarke again, Kit Harrington, Ming-Na Wen, and Alaqua Cox. So I got to meet, quite a few celebrities. So there were definitely some big names out there. Some of the bigger ones that, I haven't had a chance to meet. And this is my first time meeting quite a few of these guys like Olsen and Larson and Steinfeld. I would like to see maybe like Chris Evans, like if we're in the kind of that Marvel world, or maybe, Thor. Of course, Samuel L. Jackson's everybody's, dream that, that we've, kind of been teased with in the past that might be coming, or sooner or later, maybe to a con. So it's real close for me. There's just some personal preferences on, who I would like to maybe see, but overall for for con lineups I've seen this year so far through all the con lineups, throughout the whole U.S. They're probably the number one lineup I've seen so far that has taken place or that is scheduled for this year. I don't think I've seen a better lineup on the table for a Comic-Con in the U.S. And that took place right here in San Antonio, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I don't think I've seen a better lineup so far for the 2023.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, as far as like dream guests go, I did when I was doing a live on TikTok, I did run into Bob. He was just ending an interview, so I hopped in and did a little one with him, and like he was like about to leave, so I had like one more question for him, and of course it was have you ever tried to get Harrison Ford to one of these things? And his answer was just stay tuned for more news. So I mean, he seemed like pretty optimistic about it, and like as if something was in the works. So I mean, I think he's trying to get him, I would imagine. But yeah, of course, Harrison Ford's a grumpy old man, so who knows if he'll ever be able to pull it off. We'll see. But I mean, that would be like my
autographs as of late. I've been seeing some people get some autographs for this Indiana Jones, more than he's usually signing. So who knows?
Yeah, he was definitely signing a lot of stuff and taking photo off the premiere. Like, it seemed like he was pretty happy to do that. Now, will he be willing to do 2 days of a convention? I don't know. Hopefully, I hope so. We'll see.
I would think if he ever did one, he would be a one-dayer. He would be somebody that'd be in there. It'd be super limited, 4 to 5 hours, kind of like like an experience that Michael Keaton came into town when he came in for a different Comic-Con in the past. It's no longer really around. But I would think he would be a guest like that, or a Schwarzenegger, one day, probably quick hit type of person.
Yeah. If Harrison Ford had one, he would definitely be $1,000 autograph. I think he'd really have a package like Schwarzenegger did. But you'd be having to pay the big bucks, and it would be rather limited, I'm sure.
Man, I'm sure people from around the country, other countries would easily come too.
Oh yeah, that would attract a lot of outside visitors for sure. All right, so I think we should move on to kind of discussing the individual guests here, what our experiences were, what we've heard about them. Like, there's been a lot of chatter in the Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con Facebook group and the Ace Comic-Con group about what their interactions with these celebrities have been. Starting off with the top, I think we all met Hailee Steinfeld. I think she was probably my favorite encounter. Rigo and I, we both got 4 photos with her. We both got tickets, and then we decided to hop in on each other's photos. So we got kind of duplicated our tickets there. So that was a fun experience.
And she was game. She was good posing with everybody. It was awesome.
Yeah, so like I think it kind of your experience with her varies. Apparently, if you're like for the women, that she would be really down with like hugging and like touching and stuff. But like for all the men, it seemed like the guards were like no hands on her, like don't touch her at all. So you kind of got like a different treatment if you were a guy or a girl when you're doing your photo op with her, which that's her right. If she's not comfortable with guys touching her, that's cool. I mean, I'm sure she gets a lot of creepers in her line of business, so I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, I did the Keanu Reeves hand just around, no touching, but did go around. But it was nice photo because she was fairly close, so it didn't look too awkward, like spread apart. So, and she was also really nice.
Yeah, and like that, her outfits. For the second day. I guess that was her first day there, right? Because I think she only did 2 days, right?
2 days.
Yeah, she did 2
Saturday,
days.
Sunday.
The first day there, she had like really nice, like weird jean, like it was like an overall type thing, but it was like with shorts. And then the second day, it was like this half pants thing. It was like business jeans in the front, and then business pants in the front, and then cut off combined with jeans in the back. It was like the strangest thing. And I'm not sure why exactly she chose that outfit. It was like
you don't know high fashion, Tim. You don't know high fashion.
Yeah, I don't know high fashion. It I made the mullet joke, business in the front, party in the back, and like I was not the only one to make that. Like I shared my picture, and I've got a bunch of people saying it was like the mullet of pants. So I mean, I guess I'm not
in that world. We don't know.
I might need some for next con.
Yeah, we're falling behind the times.
Yeah, maybe I should do a Hailee Steinfeld cosplay and just like make those pants.
So what was her autograph prices and photo op prices again there?
Yeah, so her autograph price was $135, and then a photo op was 110. So
I think her autograph was on her was fairly reasonable, especially with the talk of a new movie coming out with her in it. I know she's already been in the Hawkeye series, and of course she's a singer. Go ahead.
And you got something signed, and you flipped it the day after, right? Within hours.
Yes, I did get, and I wish I would have had it out here. It's already been packed up. I did have a 13 by 19 a mini poster signed by the artist Robert Bruno, and the autograph came out really great. She put her character name on there, and that did move pretty quick for me. Of course, to kind of give everybody a recap, I run a business called the Autograph Alliance. I do mystery boxes. I also, sell autograph items and things like that. But I do have a Hailee Steinfeld pop that's right next to me. Let me take this off of there. That's the pop protector. There you go. That one is signed in white, and it has her character name of Kate Bishop on there. So that turned out pretty nice for this Funko Pop. It gives you everybody an idea what her autograph looked like. I wish I have a picture of that 13 by 19 print, but I don't have it out. It's already packed up in a box.
Yeah, so I think the pricing was pretty reasonable. We said 135, and what do you sell it for, like close to $300?
That was $400.
$400. So it definitely was a reasonable price.
A combination of that is, what did you get signed, and how well did the graph turn out? What marker was even used to make that bold signature come out on there? There's a lot of planning and thought that goes into things to make sure like good items, like your items come out well.
Yeah, well, that wasn't your first choice to get signed, right?
No, it wasn't. I actually had a couple other photos. I call them sexy shots that Hailee Steinfeld did take for like modeling shoots that she's done, and I did try to get a couple of those signed. The agent shot me down and would not do those, so I had to change gears. Change on my feet real quick and find something else. And luckily, Robert Bruno, the artist, was at this Comic-Con, one of the top artists on the Comic-Con scenes. And he always has great prints of everybody that's at any of the shows. And it's always a great selection. You can go try to find him there at most major Comic-Cons. He's there.
And he does the badges as well for them, the badge art.
Yeah, he does all the badge art, all the art on the badges. He's always done that for years. He's also big in the poster print community, like the Mondo type of posters. He's an artist in that type of world. That's where he came from. And he's kind of still does that. And he's also in the Comic-Con world. So he's kind of in both categories out there. So exactly when that happened, I knew exactly where I wanted to go first before I went looking for anything else. I went looking for that, found a pop. So I did have some items in the back of my head in case those items did get shot down. But it also, the prepping comes from making sure that you're bringing the right pen and the right equipment to the con to make sure like you're backed up and you got other options for you.
Yeah, I think especially when you're getting those risque shots, like it's really hit or miss. And we were talking to somebody online, and they were like, "Yeah, I saw somebody get this exact same shot that I got turned down for." So you really never know if they're willing to sign these things. And like your photos weren't like, too risque even. Like they were pretty tame, but yeah.
Now, there was no nudity in these shots for anybody watching. There was nothing, like too crazy. One, she kind of had a sexy face in, and the other one, she was in some lingerie. But like I said, these were both model shots that she has taken and that are out, in the general public. And I have seen sign, and I have a strong intuition we'll probably see some of those sign coming up here in the next month.
Yeah,
but just not from me or from the regular con-goers.
And we all got to go see her Q&A. At least Brian got to see the first part of it. I know Rigo and I stayed for it. And I was a little bit for all the Q&As. Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed with the question selection. The Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con on their Facebook page kind of opened it up to the community to submit their own questions to the celebrities. And I mean, to their credit, they probably did like half and half with the moderator doing about half the questions, and then half the questions were from the community, questions asked by fans. And I didn't think the moderator chose like the best questions from the fans though, or from herself either. And I also didn't appreciate, I was griping to this about Rigo, that like every freaking Q&A, somebody from Brazil would get their photo or would get their question asked on there. And I was like, how about
maybe a couple
people in San Antonio? Like they would have like one question from someone in San Antonio, and then like people from all these other countries that like aren't paying the convention at all. Like I much would have rather had them allow people from the audience to get up and ask a question. Like I think that's a really special experience when you're there and you actually get to ask a question live in person. And some conventions will do that. They'll let you just queue up in front of a microphone and just ask them live. I guess like that introduces the possibility for some.
I think they're trying to be cautious because you get sometimes you do get those crazy fans or that crazy person that might try to say something out there or too crazy. And I know that the Superhero Con show is live streaming these, I think, to YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm sure they don't want like any cursing or anything or whatever. It would be nice maybe if they had a couple of pre-screen people and they could do what you're saying. But you still run the risk of somebody running off the rails and doing something on their own or yelling out something maybe they shouldn't yell out. That is being live streamed, and you're trying to do that family image type of thing. So I do see the pluses, I do see the minuses with both of those.
Yeah, because I really wanted to have at least one question there about her music, like that didn't get touched on at all, despite her having just released a single like a month ago. She just had a new single come out, and like her music didn't even come up, which I thought was crazy. But anyway, I guess enough about Hailee Steinfeld, right?
We got a lot more people to talk about.
Yeah, so Brie Larson's up next. Her autograph price was $230, so she was a little bit more expensive, with her photo op being $210. So what have you guys heard about her? So she seemed like she was pretty enthusiastic with her photo ops, and like I didn't really hear too many gripes about her. What did you guys hear about her, and what was your personal experience?
Go ahead, Rigo. Are you frozen? He might be frozen. I'll go ahead on Brie Larson. I didn't take a photo with her, but I did see multiple other people's photo ops with Brie, and she definitely looked like she was up for different type of like poses. I'm always, for years now, I always try to come up with maybe some different poses to do with like celebrities, since we are paying these big money for to stand next to somebody. I like to make sure it's a memorable occasion, and at least ask. Of course, a celebrity can shoot you down. It's it's up to them if they want to do it. But it looks like she was give some hugs. I saw some heart symbols with her. I saw some other people bringing like props, like the gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet that I'm wearing on here. She had one on. I saw different, people bringing her helmets in there, and she was holding some of that. So she looks like she was pretty game, like as far as doing some different things in the photo op area. I did get to meet her through the autograph. I got a poster sign. And she was very nice in there. She added a character name. Also, at the time, she wasn't doing any quotes, but I don't think too many of the A-listers were doing quotes. From what I saw, I did see for the majority of them, it looks like they did a character name and their signature that I saw. But she seemed really nice, and like I said, her autograph price, I think it's like pretty spot on to like where like to what your average price is worth, like on a photo or something like that. I did get a big poster, a 27 by 40 poster, so there is a little bit more value there, because usually something of that size does command a little bit bigger value. It's harder to haul around at a convention or take to a signing or whatever it might be. But overall, I think she is reasonably priced out there, and very nice person.
Yeah, I think the only gripe I would have about her autograph, like luckily on I prepped my poster ahead of time. I put the post-it note on there, telling her where to sign, what to sign, and I also annotated on there like sign big because I have the Captain Marvel poster where it's just her on the entire freaking poster. So like that's like a one and done thing. Like once she signed it, I'm not adding anyone else. I really wanted her name to be big and prominent on there, but like she has a tendency to sign very small on these things. Like you almost got to look for it. If if I hadn't had noted on there that she needs to write big, I think her signature would have easily been lost on the poster.
No, that's a good point because I did see multiple other autographs that came out and people showed them to me or saw them online later. And she's always had that. She always kind of like real tight and small. But same thing when I brought her the poster, I said, "Can you make it real big? Like make it real big here?" She said, "No problem. I can do that for you." So if you have that request going in and you have a big surface area for them to cover, don't be afraid out there if you're going to a Comic-Con to ask that. If you've seen somebody's signature come in small, or even like when I saw Chevy Chase and I had a big poster for him, I asked him, "Can you write as big as you can in this open space?" And he wrote real gigantic there. So it doesn't hurt to, encourage, ask. All they can do is say no, but I've never really ever been turned down by a celebrity asking to write bigger, to fill up the space. They don't ever seem to mind that. I've never had a negative experience with asking somebody that.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy ask, and it makes a big difference too. So, yeah, especially on those bigger items. Yeah, let's see, she did a Q&A too, and I know she's kind of like well known for not really being too in love with her character Carol Danvers and like the MCU, like not like there's questions of whether even she wants to continue in the MCU and all that because she gets a lot of hate and stuff, and all the questions were kind of related to the MCU and that, and Avery goes back. There we go. I think they could have done a better job on hers too.
So just selecting better questions.
Yeah, for
Got
sure.
it. But no, overall, this year's real nice.
Moving on to Elizabeth Olsen. This was another one of my highly anticipated autographs and meetings that I really wanted to go to. As far as her photo op demeanor, like she was perfectly happy to put the hand on your shoulder or she did like some pretty like fun and expressive poses I saw. That people would ask her to, act out a scene or whatever for their photo, respond to some kind of external stimuli, and she would do a pretty good job of like putting on an expressive face and doing some fun stuff in hers. So she was definitely game for the fun photo ops. And it's not like this isn't her first con or anything. She's done, at least a couple before, I think. I
think they've all been Ace, from what I know, right? All Ace cons, I believe.
Yeah. And then this one was like an Ace Con too. Like they partnered up with Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con to bring this one. So yeah, she was pretty chill. I basically, when I met her for the photo op, I was just like, "Hey, I was in Love and Death with you," and she was like, "Oh, that's so nice to hear." And that's really about all I got to spit out in the 10 seconds that I was there. So
I got to propose to her, so we're running away together, and I'm not going to be able to do the show anymore because I'm going to be a busy stay-at-home husband.
Yeah, you don't. How much time did you have to like explain like, "Hey, I'm going to propose to you"? Like, was it like a quick agreement, or was there some buy-in that was needed, or what?
No, and this goes out for other people that have never done type of poses. Sometimes in a photo op or professional photo op, it doesn't hurt to ask. No, same thing as asking for a celeb to write in a big area. You can also ask them for a quick pose, as long as it's not like too elaborate or too crazy or something like that. All they can do is say no, and it's not the end of the world. If they do, you can still take your photo with them. But I just came up to her and says, "Hey, can I go ahead and do a proposal, a quick proposal pose with you?" She said, "Sure, no problem." I got down on one knee. She went right into character, gave a great face like she was surprised. I looked over at the camera. It was a quick shot. It was a 4-second A 5-second, quick mention. She was up for it. She was real super cool about it. I saw her doing lots of different poses, like with the hands, like she's gonna do the the magic, and stuff like that, and just different poses. She looked really happy. I didn't get any graphs from her this round. I wanted to, but they sold out on me. And but I saw a lot of nice graphs from her. I did also even see some quotes from her. I know I was talking earlier that I didn't see any quotes. I did see some quotes from some people that had a couple of things. I don't think it was very, a large number of them, but I did see some.
I know a lot of people were complaining about her in particular because she wasn't doing any dedications, it seems like. So she wouldn't be like, to Tim, to Brian. She wouldn't dedicate any of the photos she was signing, apparently.
And you know what? Usually, I think sometimes the volunteers, they get used to going down the road, and they get in that whole mode of would you like to personalize? We got a sticky note, and they're going down, they're just going, and maybe they didn't do their due diligence and checking with the celeb or the agent at the time. Maybe something changed inside that booth versus what happened out on the floor, and it wasn't communicated that she wasn't going to keep on doing them because maybe she was on a time crunch. Maybe she only had so much time before she had to meet at her next event. And if you're already running behind, even adding those extra names and adding that extra stuff, maybe there's not. And you don't want to, be too far behind, because then you're running into, people complaining, there's multiple hours behind, and, they're not on time and things like that. So it's kind of that catch-22, like what's going on. I just never know. I mean, at any con, it's never usually guaranteed, even when I have customers that send me items that want to go get signed at cons, which I did not at this con, but at other cons, I always tell them it's not guaranteed. I get like 210, or I get character name, or if I get a quote, but if I do, it's all, gravy and plus, that's extra for you. Since you bought for me, I don't charge you anything extra for that. So I always just take it, you never know what's going to happen, because that could change from one day to the next, or even hour by hour, depending on their schedules.
Yeah. And I mean, normally, like you'd expect celebrities to do the dedication and then maybe not the character name or not the quote. It seems like the dedication is kind of like the one add-on that a lot of people do for free. So it's kind of a little bit reversed there, which is a little bit of an odd situation. But
you know what? She's actually a hero. She's a superhero, right? So she actually saved all those people's items from losing their value. So I'm not, since it says autograph talk, I got to go back to don't personalize your items if you can't help it. You know what I mean? I don't try to get anything signed with my name, my wife's name, anything like that if possible. It's kind of like buying a brand new car and then starting to take off parts before you even left the parking lot at the car salesman's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, instantly depreciated.
Took off, fenders and bumpers, and you're like, now you've already devalued it from driving it off the lot. You know what I mean? So to me, when you're getting something personalized, it's always harder to sell. And you may say, I'm never going to sell this. This is never going to leave my hands. But you never know. You might be in a bind. You might need to sell something. Maybe something comes into play that you want to go do something else. And then always remember, you're never going to live forever. Someone's going to sell that. They're probably not going to put it in the casket with you and send it 6 feet down under the ground with you.
Yeah. And her prices were the same as Brie Larson. She was at $230 for the autograph and $210 for the photo op. Next up was Andrew Garfield. He was also at the same price point, and I think so. If you look him up on the Wikipedias, like it does say that he has social anxiety. So I imagine that the convention circuit, meeting thousands of adoring fans, is probably not the easiest thing for him to do, but it was kind of reflected in his photo ops because he was a bit, I guess you could say, standoffish. He didn't want to touch any of the fans, and he didn't want them touching him. So like he would just kind of be standing there, and then the fan would be standing next to him, potentially doing some kind of a pose. If he got lucky, he was doing the Spider-Man fingers like this. But yeah, his photo shoots were largely emotionless, not like a lot of emotion on his face, hardly a smile most of the time. So if you paid the $210 for an Andrew Garfield autograph, I do feel a little bit sorry for you. But I mean, people who got him, I mean, to their credit, they all seem for the most part happy with him. Like I didn't really see too many complaints from the people who actually got him. I don't know if you guys did, but yeah, I think would have been nicer to see more enthusiasm out of him on those photo ops.
Yeah, he's definitely out of all the main guests. He's the one I heard the most complaints about, especially for the photo ops. And like I know one of my friends, Daniel, got his web slinging, but that was pretty much all I saw, just the web slinging. There'd be people who had the Tom Holland pose, and he wouldn't participate either. He just has his hands behind his back, just sitting there like Billy D. Williams. When I got his photo op, he's just sitting there smiling. And just next.
Yeah. I didn't really hear complaints from anybody that walked out behind the curtain and said, I'm not happy with my photo op. But from looking at photo ops, they looked a little bit awkward to me. There was a little bit of like just too much space that kind of looked awkward to me. And his hands were either front or back. And you know what? It's all his personal preference. And like you said, he may have some anxieties. And I'm not knocking the guy at all because I started having some different anxieties after I had a heart attack a couple of years ago. So I'm not knocking any of that to however he wants to handle himself. It just my own personal preference. I didn't get a photo with him. If I did, I would have liked to do some other things, maybe, out there. I know it's all this is request. None of that's guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed when you go for a photo op is for you to go take a photo with them. And I completely understand. But we're just talking like the differences in between all of them. But yeah, he did seem like he was a little bit awkward in some of his photo ops out there. His graph looked great. I didn't get any graphs from him. Like I said, they sold out, but I did see some friends and other people that I know that got autographs. They all look good that he had out there. Did he do?
Yeah, he added on the inscriptions to a lot of them that I saw.
Oh, okay.
He would put Amazing Spider-Man, and I saw I Love You Guys.
That's really good.
3 of the ones I saw.
Well, maybe he made up for it like that with that.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's about it for Andrew Garfield. He did have a panel scheduled, I guess, but his got canceled. I don't know if that was to do with the anxiety or if he just got swamped with photo ops. I'm not too sure. They didn't really say what exactly was happening there. But Emilia Clarke was also at the convention. She made her return to Texas after about, 3 or 4 years when she was in Houston for Comicpalooza last. And her autograph price was a little bit more reasonable at $195. Then her photo op was $170 or $350 if you did the Kit Harrington Emilia Clarke photo op combo. So, Brian, did you get something signed from her this time?
Yes, I actually got 2 autographs. I don't have them on me to display. One's already been packed up already. I did get 2 of her in vogue modeling shots. I would say on the sexy side of shots that I got signed from her. She was open to signing both of them. One of them didn't turn out so great. Just had some ink issues, so I don't have that in display, and the other one's already packed up to get to the post office after I finished talking to you guys here today. But she was super nice. I didn't take a photo with her this round. I took a photo with her in Houston a few years ago. But she was in a very great mood. Like when I met her and talked to her, joking around, having a good time. Behind her curtain back there, signing, everything I saw brought in. Sharon sure looked good. She, signed both of the items big. Really nice the first time I met her. Really nice the second time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like from all the photo ops that I saw of her, she was looked like she was having a really good time with all of the guests there. So that was pretty cool to see. As far as she did a panel too with Kit Harrington. And it was pretty nice seeing the 2 of them together. I guess we could just talk about both of them. Sure. Kit just had his baby like a week and a half ago, so he was on stage with her, and they were kind of talking about their friendship. And there's one moment where Emilia Clarke kind of reached out her hand to Kit, and then they had a nice little hand holding moment on stage. It was kind of kind of sweet and intimate. They've been friends for a long time, so that was kind of nice to see. And they were kind of recounting some of their moments on the Game of Thrones set and how they had, I guess, been friends for a long time and not had actually scenes together. So that when they first kind of had their first scenes together and saw each other in costume, it was like kind of like a surreal, weird experience for them because they knew each other as like not these characters, right? So that was cool. And I have all the Brie Larson, Elizabeth Olsen, Hailee Steinfeld, and the Kit Harrington / Emilia Clarke Q&A up on my YouTube, which is Tales from the Collection. So you can watch all those in full there if you happen to miss it. But yeah, she was really good there. She just had Secret Invasion, which is still airing right now, and she's one of the main characters in that show. So the convention was really good timing for her. They talked a little bit about that, as well as of course, Game of Thrones is probably the main focus, being that she was there with Kit at the same time. And Kit seemed like he was doing really good, despite having that week and a half old baby back home in England with his wife Rose Leslie, who was also a Game of Thrones alum. He seemed like he was being happy about it. He wasn't like resentful that he was there. I could easily see somebody being mad that they had to leave their newborn baby at home to travel across the world to go to a convention like this. But he seemed like he was in high spirits and doing really well. So
I was to say he's in a really good mood. I didn't get a photo with him, but he signed 2 big full-length swords, the Long Claw HBO swords, full heavy-duty swords. He had a character name on both of those swords. They were super heavy. I had to have a whole wagon to bring those suckers in. They turned out beautiful. I do have pictures and video online on Autograph Alliance on Facebook, but I have them packed away in boxes because I just can't have them sitting around in here and stuff like that. So I've already packed them away. But they turned out great. And one of those swords is, of course, Nick's that on our podcast here. I'm sure he'll return in the next week or two. But he was in a really great mood all weekend, too.
Did they give you any trouble bringing those big old swords in?
No, not at all. Superhero Con let us know on Facebook about their sword policy and what to do ahead of time. So I made sure to bring them in the original box, made sure to have something on the tips of each of them. And then when I got in line, and that was all before you even got into the gate to get your tickets. That's all real early on in the process. And then once you actually get in and you're in the autograph area, no issues at all. When I brought because it was so big, I had to bring the wagon behind the curtain. When I brought them back there, they just asked me to leave them in the box, in the styrofoam, because it's kind of a styrofoam type of box that they're in. And then we would just kind of bring them up a little bit so he could write where he needed to write them at. And they wouldn't even have to come out of the box or anything, and nobody's swinging them around or pulling them off or anything crazy like that.
Nice.
So Superhero Comic-Con did have that pat down, and I appreciate them letting us bring in swords to get signed.
Yeah, it's always good to bring in those props, especially because they do help you command a higher value there. All right, we're making our way down this list now, picking up some speed here. So Katee Sackhoff, she was like kind of a unique guest there because she was the only one with 2 different autograph prices. So we saw earlier, like the combo shots have different photo op prices, but everybody has a flat autograph price. Doesn't matter what size item you're getting, what you're asking for, quote, inscription, character name, any of that stuff. Everyone's a flat fee except for Katee Sackhoff. She has the $100 autograph price, which I presume is something like an 8x10, and then there's the premium autograph price, and that is $140. So for the premium autograph, which I assume is probably all the Funko Pops, any like statue or 3D object.
I think anything Star Wars related is considered premium for her. Or I say for her, I'm going to say that her agent makes this. I mean, I love Katee Sackhoff. I've met her multiple times. Always a super nice lady. But I do not like her tiered pricing. She started this in probably about the last year or plus time frame, where at certain even little shows, oh, I'm charging 120 for, Star Wars or anything that's not like an 8x10 for my table or just a photo. And then I've seen different versions of her pricing there. I'm not a super fan of her pricing on there. I'd say, you know what, if between the middle and the high, maybe pick a mid and just stay in that lane and go for it on one. But that's my opinion. Or just go to the low. But that's just my fan opinion.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that keeps me away from a lot of the private online signings is just the nickel and diming, and I really don't like that. So it makes me sad when I see it at the convention because I'm already paying enough at this convention. I really don't need to be nickeled and dimed for a premium autograph when you don't have to do anything. I'm the one handling it. It's not like there's any extra work on their end. So.
Yeah, and I know for sure this is not a superhero Comic-Con issue. This is just like a Katee Sackhoff, agent handler type of thing that has been going on. The only time she didn't have that was at Dallas Fan Expo last year, not this year, the year before. She was like a flat fee, but the con right before that, she did have a tiered pricing again. So it's been over a year. She's kind of been flip-flopping on this. Maybe if Fan Expo, they told her, hey, come in and straight deal. I don't know. So I don't know any of the details behind that. But, I wish that she would just kind of just pick a middle of the road price, maybe to stay at $100, $120, something like that, for her stuff out there.
I know, because I would have got her, but with the price tiering, it's a real turnoff. I might as well just buy it online.
She's been around, so if you've been doing the convention circuit for a while, you probably already have her autograph somewhere. So that really, if you already got one, you're dissuaded from getting another one if you're having to pay premium. So I don't know if it's really doing her any favors having this premium price.
No,
and she sells them on her website for like $40.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was also going to say, since we're talking about value of things, she is at the upper end of her value, even though we're talking about $100 or $140 versus, $230 or $250 on somebody else. Different types of people. But I think she's at the upper end of her pricing. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of other real value to be had. When I go to a Comic-Con, I'm always looking, if I'm getting something signed, it's going to be cheaper for me to get it signed at the actual Comic-Con than sending it off to a sending company or a signing or buying it on the secondary market. There's not much, there's not much more other value on top of that. Maybe besides getting maybe a full-size helmet done, something really big, you know what I mean? But her pop price, I've seen her pops go for about signed $150, $175. I've seen her Star Wars photos, and Star Wars action figures go around that $100, $140. It's like right on target. It needs to be a little bit lower to entice those people to come in and spend more money, because she's pushing too high for who she is at this point. That's my point.
Yeah, there's no meat left on the bone at that price for sure. All right, Alaqua Cox. So I met her at Comicpalooza about a month or so ago, and of course she's a deaf actress. So when you meet her, she has a translator there who helps kind of bridge the communication gap there. If you don't know ASL, I was able to learn a couple signs like in the line just so I can say hello and thank you. But it's really, you don't have to do any of that because they have a translator there for you. And I was able to communicate through the translator, tell her that I really liked the show and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really nice communication that I had. And Brian, you said you met her at this show, right?
Oh yeah, I did meet her. She was really nice. I did see her say thank you and mouth that, so I did it back to her just to let her know thank you for her time. Really nice person. I don't have the item with me, but she signed a pop for me.
Awesome. Yeah, and she was really reasonably priced. She was probably the cheapest autograph I think that was there. Well, except for John O'Hurley, he was pretty darn cheap. But Alaqua, she was priced at $55 for the autograph and $50 for the photo op. So, at $50, I kind of wish I had gotten a photo op. I could have could have done a photo op for $50, but
Yeah, and there was a good amount of people there, and I got her as well, and I was surprised. I didn't think there'd be as many people, but there was probably like 3 lines full.
Yeah. I mean, at that price point, it's pretty affordable because then you can't afford anybody else. At least you can still kind of get that Comic-Con photo op experience in there and get a picture with her. And she's just got her Hawkeye show, but she's gonna have her own show. She's gonna have Echo. That's gonna be a whole independent show. So I imagine her price will go up in the future. Then there was, I guess, talking about cheap, there was the dirt cheap. In fact, absolutely free autographs. We had 2 people there giving free autographs, which were Asher Angel, who was he was Shazam, the kid version of Shazam. So Zachary Levi plays the adult one. He plays the kid version. So when he says Shazam, he turns into Zachary Levi. So he was there giving out some free autographs. And I guess you could also make a donation for a photo op, apparently, but he was doing free photo ops too, because I saw people get free selfies too. So there was first day on Friday. He was there like all 3 days giving out free autographs. The line was pretty decent. And then Saturday and Sunday, he had really long lines for his autograph. So you had to like get in there pretty early. Otherwise, I would imagine that the size of that line, people were probably waiting up to an hour and a half to get his autograph for sure.
And most people came prepared. I saw everyone with Shazam comics, Funko Pops, DVDs.
Yeah. I didn't have anything for him to sign. I just did some table photos from there, or just one table photo, and I was good with that. That was fine. But it would have been nice to have a Shazam poster or something. I didn't really want to get the poster. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get him or not, but I did. So it would have been good to have the poster. But that's okay. Other than him, there was Barry Lowen. He is we all know the Mandalorian is Pedro Pascal. He gives the voice to Mando, and occasionally he's in the armor. But Barry Lowen is really the main guy behind the mask of the Mandalorian. He's in almost all of the scenes, from what I understand. And he was there.
I believe he said he was the stunt. He was the main stunt one for it.
So, we got some free autographs from him. Did really well because I had the Disney Insider rewards posters for the Mandalorians and Book of Boba Fett. So I had 2 Mando posters that he signed for me, and then 2 Book of Boba Fett posters. But he didn't play Mando in the Book of Boba Fett. He was some other like auxiliary character. So I asked him, don't put Mando on these. And on one he didn't put Mando, and the other one he forgot. I just kind of muscle memory wrote Mando on my Book of Boba Fett poster. So that was a bit of a mistake on there. But
and I brought mine too that he signed my helmet.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and he was really good with the inscriptions too. This is the way he's wrote on there for like pretty much everybody who asked. So that was really cool. Like there was only one superhero car show in Comic-Con volunteer who was like given a hard time the whole time, and that was it for Barry Lowen. And he was just mean mugging everybody. It wasn't just us. He was just like looked like he hated life, and I don't know what exactly he was doing there, but
took my helmet out of my hands and everything.
He wasn't even performing a role at all.
Your item out of your hands.
Yeah, he was just there to kind of stare people down. And like when Rigo got up to the table, I've never had anybody like come up to me and take my item out of my hands and like hand it to the celebrity for me or anything like that. But that's what he did to Rigo. Took the helmet out of his hands, brought it to the table, and handed it to the celebrity for him. It was like really weird. And he tried to do it to me with my poster, and I was like, no, I can hand him my own poster. Thank you very much. And he really didn't like that. But it is what it is. I don't want people handling my posters, especially they can get damaged quite easily, honestly. So I'd rather not have someone handle something like that. His helmet's pretty durable, so he would have been fine. But
and I think we saw someone's item get grabbed, and it looked like they were squeezing it pretty hard. One of the posters.
Yeah, that's something you never want to see. So I don't know why he got that idea and decided that he should be grabbing people's items and handing it to the celebrity for them. Like, it's not like anyone was getting handsy with Barry Lowen or anything. Like he was. But that was anyway. The fact that they had anybody there giving free autographs is really cool because, you know, at a minimum at a convention, you're out here paying $60 all the way up to, you know, about 300 or in some cases more than that. And a free autograph in this day and age is basically unheard of. So
it's the only Comic-Con I know that does free autographs. They've done it the last couple of years, I believe. I've had somebody, Sean Elliott last year, and somebody else I know that did some free autographs out there. And so it's all, I didn't get to get any autographs from them. I was a little bit too busy, or maybe taking a break, or the times didn't line up for me. I wish I would have gotten an autograph from each, or maybe even a photo, but it just didn't work out. But you know, it's great out there for there are people that do have the time and are able to go to knock those out.
Yeah, I think that's really important for, like, you know, families there. We got your kids and maybe you don't have the disposable income to go pay $300, but you can still go to this line and get a free autograph from somebody who's relevant, like, especially, you know, both of these guys, Barry Lowen. Everybody has seen, all these kids have seen The Mandalorian probably, and a lot of these kids have probably seen Shazam. So it would have been great for kids to go up and get a free autograph from either of these two actors for free, which is really, really cool. Like, you can take the whole family.
Because we saw families getting it done. It was like every kid got their own Funko Pop. They were all excited. They all got their own personalization and everything.
Yeah, I definitely saw a lot of happy kids because of that. So that was really cool. And then they had John O'Hurley. He's been there for the last like 3 years or so. He's from Seinfeld, and his autograph price was only $30. And if you paid $50, you could get an autograph photo op combo. But he was pretty nice. He was a good guy. I talked to him for a little bit. I got an autograph because of $30. Why not? And then last one on the list was Felicia Day. Haven't really seen too much about her. Her autograph price was $60, and her photo op was $75. So she was also reasonably priced. Would have been a good one to get. If I know she's on, I think she's on Critical Role, and she's, you know, does a bunch of nerdy stuff as well. So
Supernatural as well.
I didn't see Felicia Day, but one person I do want to talk about that I got to meet yesterday was Tony Parker. So being here from San Antonio, he was one of the people that I've wanted to meet. He is, of course, the NBA basketball world time multiple champion over here for the San Antonio Spurs. I've wanted to meet him for a long many years. I know this is a sports person, but I don't mind a couple of sports people being at a Comic-Con. Now, of course, I don't want like the whole thing to be sports, but it's never been that way. You know, at the Superhero Con, they may have one or two, you know, basketball, you know, people that maybe come in, a couple of wrestlers and things like that. But I was so privileged to meet Tony Parker yesterday. He was on my list to meet. I've been a Spurs fan since I've been a little kid, and I'm 47 years old. The Spurs hold a special place with me, my son growing up, and, you know, turning him on to basketball. That was one thing that me and even my grandmother would bond over Spurs basketball. So it was. I got a great photo signed by Tony Parker when he was here. Let me go ahead and show that off real quick. But 16 by 20 on this one. Oops, gotta go this way. And of course, Tony Parker's graphs right here. And it turned out really good. I know a lot of times he's kind of like real big. You can see on his autograph, and it goes all over the place, but it fit there perfect. I got Ginobili in person a couple of months back in the wild out there. Got to sign it. And of course, the last one I need is Tim Duncan, and that one's going to be a tough one to get, of course, out there. But I would love to get all three. The same silver marker was used on both of them. Since we're talking about autographs, I made sure the same marker was used on it. And if I ever see Tim, I'm going to use the same marker again. This is a silver deco marker. Paint pen. These paint pen works really great in the silver ink and also blue and some other colors out there. You can find them on Amazon for like about $7. But yes, Tony Parker, I got to take a photo with him. Got this signed. I would have got more autographs, but he sold out on Friday or Thursday, and I wanted to scoop up some more. So I just wanted to talk about Tony Parker. Like I said, I'm a big Spurs fan. I got to meet him at the very end of my day late yesterday.
Yeah, you were like the last person to get him. We were coming right off of our line from, who was that?
Hailee Steinfeld.
Hailee Steinfeld. Well, you know what? He did come back and he did sign some more. So I think he may have had a little break or something. Something was going on. So I just caught him at the end of his break, like start of a break or something.
He was starting a panel when I was leaving. I saw that.
Okay. But no, I was so psyched to be able to do that. So the superhero card show can bring in Tim Duncan next year. Oh, that would be awesome for me. I know it'd be awesome for the city of San Antonio and a lot of NBA fans. Make it happen out there, superhero Comic-Con show.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I did mention that we are also simultaneously on TikTok right now. I did get a couple of comments.
Oh yeah.
A lot from EG here asking if Elizabeth Olsen said yes to you, Brian.
Yes. She said yes. We're moving to Utah, so my current wife can come with us, and we can all live together as a happy throuple.
Yeah. Blake saying wants to start collecting autographs again. Wants to try some through the mail. It's definitely fun. Give it a shot. Good way to get into that is just look at my TikToks, and whoever I'm getting from, you can probably write to them and have a good chance of getting success as well. Someone's asking if we're going to be at Comic-Con in San Antonio in October. So that's the big Texas Comic-Con. I plan on it, hopefully. I know my wife's got a marathon, I think, during that one, which she is still up in the air if she's going to do or not. So
other cons coming to Texas real quick, and I know we don't have whole time to break this down. It'll be a whole nother show, but we got Big Texas coming up in the future. We got the Galaxy Con coming in Austin. We got Corpus Christi Comic-Con coming up. There's a horror Comic-Con in like 2 weeks in Houston. Texas has so many Comic-Cons coming up. We probably have to dedicate a whole nother show just to upcoming events coming up here in the next few months already. There's a lot of stuff coming up over here.
Yeah. Any you're taking consignments for with Autograph Alliance?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't made the decision that I am. I might just be grabbing inventory and things of that type of nature, maybe attending. But I haven't decided yet because I know GalaxyCon already has their own consignments. So it'd probably be pretty hard to compete with them. So.
Well, they do have a bad reputation for messing items up.
That is true. I can come save the day for everybody. But I honestly haven't looked into it. Just coming off of Dallas Fed Expo and taking so many orders for there, taking orders for Greater Austin Comic-Con. I've taken so many orders, so I do have a pretty busy schedule, so I need to look into it more. But just saying that, we do have a lot of stuff coming out. You have any other great comments out there in TikTok?
Yeah. Let's see. EG's asking how one pays for these things. So they all tickets all go on sale for photo ops and autographs in advance, usually about a month before, sometimes a little bit closer even. And if they're not sold out by the time of the convention, then you can also buy some on site. But a lot of these things actually sell out. Like we were saying with Andrew Garfield, like if you weren't there when they launched at 12 o'clock within 15 minutes to buy that ticket for the autograph, and they were already gone, and there was no second opportunity to buy them. So you really got to be kind of watching social media for the announcements as to when these tickets are going to drop if you want to get the best chance of actually acquiring one. Someone did ask, Blake asked how much Elizabeth Olsen was. Elizabeth Olsen, her autograph price was $230, and her photo op price was $210.
Which was a big jump from her last price, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Just some other general comments about the con and stuff, but no real directed questions for us. So, any final comments, guys, about the convention?
I did get some of the con art. I know Brian was talking about it. This was his print that he
I realized that the artist was there for that. I would have gotten the badge signed.
Yeah, so as a VIP, you get some badges. We didn't discuss that. You get a bag. When you come in, you get a free popcorn tin. This is not my popcorn tin. I think mine's still in the thing, but this is an old one. I actually use them as trash cans. Oops, look, I got all my messy trash here. But I keep them and use them. But throughout the weekend, if you buy one, because I think you buy it for $10 or whatever the amount was, then you can get free refills of popcorn all weekend long. I know no other Comic-Con that does that. Their food is reasonably priced compared to other Comic-Cons. I think I saw I even ate a hamburger one day. The quality of the food, it's Comic-Con food. Nothing too special. But it was like $7 for a hamburger, or $3 for like a soda. You go to some of these other big cons, or even relatively, halfway size cons, you're gonna have, paying $15 for a hamburger, $13 for a Chick-fil-A sandwich, $10 or $15 for a drink, and they'll rail you on those prices. So, I think that also plays a big factor into having a great Comic-Con, is have reasonably priced snacks. And since we're talking about overall, superhero con, there was also a free arcade there. I've seen some like free machines at other cons, maybe like 6 to 10. This thing had 30, 40, I don't know how many machines. I didn't count them, but a lot, all on free play. And I know we're fixing to wrap up. My only recommendations, I would say, for this one would be, I wish the food quality was a little better. In the past, I know they had like HEB there. They had some vendors outside, like some Bahama Bucks, like snow cones and some other things, coffee. But there was like this one time where they were doing like HEB sausage wraps, and those were phenomenal. Gave you a little bit, and they were cheap too, like $2 a wrap or $4 a wrap. I don't remember what they were, but they had jalapeno cheddar and some other ones. But maybe find some other outdoor things, or maybe related around barbecue or something to kind of give the outer towners a little bit more like taste of San Antonio or Texas even, and kind of brand it that way. That'd be my recommendation. So better quality food. And then, it's just so hot outside, but there's nothing that they could really do about it, because y'all were talking about the line coming in front or traveling from building to building. I'm so glad they have it spaced out. I wish they had a big enough building where it was all enclosed and you never had to get outside in the elements or wait outside in the heat, because it is Texas, it is heat. But we're talking about minor things for improvement now. We're not talking about, big overhauls. I mean, to me, I've been to a lot of cons. I would go to Comic-Cons 10 times throughout the year. Superhero Con is one of my top cons out there, probably in the whole U.S. out there. That would say organization, pricing, things like that, overall experience. I give it an A overall.
Yeah, I agree. It was a pretty good experience, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next year. I know I saw tons of comments on Facebook, people like sitting at the airport saying, waiting for the tickets to drop for 2024. Like everybody seemed to come outside of this con and just be like really stoked and kind of sad that it had ended already. So that's a really good thing to see.
And they did have a lot of vendors with free things. That's, for anyone taking kids, families going, that was really cool.
For sure. All right, my dudes. Really good talking about the con. I think we basically covered all the bases on it. Check out Brian, Autograph Alliance. You can find me at talesfromreflection.com. You can find Rigo when you go to the con next time.
And congrats on Tim getting your 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got to hit the 10K on TikTok, doing some live streams there at the convention. That was like a milestone that I was really struggling to overcome there, and finally did it. So I'm very happy about that. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Nope, just say have a good one. Look
Later.
forward to talking to y'all next time.